orders. And by the way, if anyone needs NinjaTrader, please contact us. We can provide you and help you accessing and downloading NinjaTrader 8. That includes live data, so you can practice with a live market, and it's helpful. You just don't jump into it without practicing and understanding the software. You should get accustomed to it. Now I'm going to add here a system that I have here called the roadmap. When I mentioned to you that the market was going to stop here, right here, and not continue lower because of the manipulation, this is what this software does. The roadmap helps me understand that if I am going to take a trade short, that I have to be very careful going short because it's going to be a problem breaking through the buyers that are taking profit. So again, think about selling, 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 selling. So think about how, especially if you look at the Commitment of Traders reports, these are old school tactics where you look at the COT and you see what the commercials are doing, what the large investors are doing, what the public is doing. Think of it on a smaller scale, that the market is going and going lower and lower. There comes a point where a trend has a limited life. It doesn't last forever, and it comes to a point where you're going to say it's time to take profit. So now take your profit with huge amount of contracts, stopping the market from going lower. So for the time being, if you went short right as it trades inside the first roadmap zone, you're going to get run over. And that's a great filter on any method. It could be your own methods, it could be your the way that you like to trade, but it's definitely manipulation that you can see and you can count on, and that happens every day, multiple times per day. Now, how long does this manipulation happen? So is it just I can't go long forever, or what? If you think about getting in and getting out of the market, if the manipulation is going to happen, it should happen immediately. Okay? That means that into the future, you can continue to go short after all of these contracts are filled. My recommendation is typically after it hits a roadmap area of manipulation, about 40 minutes, more than enough time for everyone who needed to go long and get out of their short positions, they're cleared out of the way, sometimes even sooner. So I know not to go short because for the time being, I would say about 40 minutes, there's no reason for me to fight them. But if this area, this roadmap zone is broken and continues through it, that means this is no longer valid. So I'm using the roadmap zone to filter out trades. I'm using the roadmap zone to even get me into a trade, long or short. But as soon as this zone is no longer valid or broken, then it's over. I can go short, I can go long, I can do whatever I want because there's nothing stopping me or manipulating the move at any area or at this area beyond that. All right. Now the same thing if I look at, I'll just go back here. And just to give you an example of what I'm referring to, just to give you a sense of how manipulation works. So this is the end of the day. And believe it or not, the roadmap levels love to end or love to finish the day, the market in these areas. So if I look at going long here towards the end of the day here, as soon as it hits the roadmap zone, it stopped and reversed. So that means that if you went short, that would have been the right thing to do. If you went long, fighting these guys, you'd get run over. And the same thing is true with here. Here, the market hit the zone, and it began to immediately pop off out of it. It actually hit it earlier than that. Here, see? So as soon as it hits the area, it stopped. So if you went short thinking it's a good idea to go short, this is the reason why I need to go short, my moving averages are all telling me go short, if that was the reason, the outside manipulation is stopping you from taking these short signals. And once it goes through by this zone here, starts trading on the opposite side, this zone is no longer valid. All right. Same thing here. If it went through it, this zone is no longer valid, but it stopped it in its tracks. So here we are now. This morning, whether it's the Atlas line long for 7-tick target or the roadmap long with this big green arrow here, it's the same thing. It's a long trade until you have proof it's no longer relevant when it trades outside of the zone. So I'm using the roadmap to filter, to help me get into a trade, to validate trades. So it's important not to just jump in because there's a big trend to the downside, right? You saw the big trend here. It's important to take into account outside manipulation. All right, I'm going to switch gears here a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about May, upcoming May, the cycles. Let me remove here everything off the chart. I'm going to switch to a daily chart. Yes, available for NinjaTrader 8. Absolutely, Gary. Mentorship starts on May 8th. All right, so call us or email us, and I'll send you the information to log in into the mentorship class starting on May 8th. Be happy to have you. Join up. It's included, right? The roadmap's included, Atlas line, ATO, scalping methods. So it's an all-inclusive program, Gary, that you get. All of the courses at a reduced price, because if you were going to get everything separately, it costs a lot more. So if you're getting it as a bundle, it's 2 months with me live in every class. All right, so let me switch gears and remove here everything off the chart. I'm going to go to a daily chart. Cycles. We have been in a very slow environment, and you can see that with this. 12 points is what I can expect on a day-to-day basis. But take for a moment the groupings of days that are small, where everybody's getting chopped up with back and forth flip-flop, and take, for example, days that are higher volatility. It's rare to see one day of huge move not followed up by a few either before or after. Same thing, it's more common to see a grouping of days that are very tight and tight wound, which everyone is expecting something to happen, but market's very slow. So use this ATR to help you recognize when the days are either normal, the days are slow, or the days are highly volatile. So take, for example, where we are right now. So we've had a grouping of days. Typically, I like to say 3, 4, 5 days where there's a cycle of slower period. Now that we have this slower period, if I crunch up the chart here a little bit, you can see that slow period is almost always followed by a more volatile period. And the same thing, a volatile period is always followed by a slower period. Same thing, market was slow, now it's volatile. Market is slow, then it's volatile. So we're not looking at this ATR as divergence of any type, like momentum divergence or anything. We're looking at it instead as just cyclical. What conditions are we in? What can I expect for tomorrow? What can I expect for the next few days? So what we're seeing here in May is very slow. Actually, if you look at the extremes is where we're at here. We're looking at roughly 10 to 11 points for the day as an extremely slow period. This will be followed by a more volatile period of time, which means the day will be, eventually we're going to see a grouping of days that are going to be 20 points in range or more, right? You see some days here at 30. So I don't want you to expect that this slow period is going to last forever. I want you to expect that this is what we have at the moment. My targets are smaller, my stops are smaller, my trade management has to be based on this slower environment. When the market begins to increase in volatility, which it will, just like a cycle, you'll see these numbers begin to increase. That means larger profits. You have to also increase your stops and your risk to take that into effect. And when it reaches, once again, into 25, 30, expect the market to then slow down like a cycle and become slower and slower. So cyclical activities in markets, when the market is slow compared to when the market is volatile, is important, really, really important to understand. Now, in addition, when you look at a day, one huge day, so let me see if I can find here one crazy day where, here we even take a look at this here example here. Do you see this day right here? This green candle right here, this happens to be, looks like March 1st. March 1st, 2017. When you see a day like this, right, so everything was slow and steady, right? Every day has the same high to low range. I'm going to say 13 to 14 points. A cycle. They happen in groups. Actually, I didn't write this down. I'm going to write this down. A grouping of days. Cycle. All right. So when I see a grouping of days 4, 5, I know that eventually it's going to change. So when you see this here, this may be the start of a change where the market now is going to become more volatile. But the one thing that we don't really take into consideration, besides how large the candle is that this day was probably a trending day, a day that trended. Trending days typically occur back to back. So just like I refer to a cycle of choppy days, they're almost all typical doji looking candles here. When you look at a large day, which is a trend, trends occur in groupings just like we have these tight range days. But the one thing that I want to take out of that equation, that this is a trending day, is the direction. The following day could be a trend, but it could be a trend either up or it could be a trend down. So when I see a day that's a large day, big day trend, whatever the reason, maybe news set it off or a tweet or something, the next day could be another trending day, but down, just like it could be up. So don't get sucked into direction. Look at it as for what it is. It's a trending day. Tomorrow we may have another trending day, up or down. And it's more common that days reverse as opposed to continue. And the example that they always give you in the news is profit taking. So they say the market went up big today. Tomorrow the same guy says, due to profit taking, the market went down. Now this isn't really a big day compared to this one, but typically when you have a large up trending day or large down trending day, the following day is more the same, but in the opposite direction. Okay. Same thing with, no problem, Felipe. I'll send you, if you email me, I'll send you the recording, and just email support@daytradetowin.com, and I'll send you the recording. The same thing where you see here and here, right? One day is down, next day is up, but they are virtually 17 points in range. So it's normal to have the same high to low groupings of days, but direction does not matter. It could go up, it could go down, it doesn't matter. Here's another example. This one is actually a better example here. These 2 days right here. Huge day up, huge day down. So if I automatically believed that this is a trending day up, this is another trending day, this is another trending day, here took a little bit of profit, here's another trending day, that the next day will also be another trending day, I'd be in trouble if I thought it was only long. But if I thought it was a trending day, long or short, I'd prepare for it. I would say trends have certain characteristics. Maybe you can look at the ABC method, ABC indicator that I offer. ABC actually method is free for everybody to learn. The ABC indicator I include with the ETO, the At the Open program, and with mentorship. So this would actually tell me that a trending day, either up or down, is possible. Okay? All right, very good. All right, any questions whatsoever? All right, one last thing I'm going to leave you with today. When it comes to trading in May, we're going to look at the market here stabilize. As soon as you start to see the range of the days increase, just like they got slower and slower and slower, this is the opportunity to look at how I'm going to take advantage of these moves. Trailing stops only work on days that have larger ranges. So if you think about trailing a stop or trailing a target, it doesn't work in tight range days because there's not enough distance. The market doesn't really move that much, and I already know that because of this ATR great tool that is overlooked by so many. Understanding that the day is slow, I can expect more of this slow environment. So you can't really trail a stop under these slower conditions, but you can if you have these larger days where the ATR, you see it's at about 20 here, 20 points. So with a 20-point high to low day, and if it's a trending day, you have so much more distance that you could trail a stop. So trailing a stop is something that everyone tries to do, and I have a few videos out there. Just search the blog or DayTradeToWin.com on how to trail a stop. And when you try to trail a stop, you actually want the home run trade. Look for the home run trade on the days that have higher probabilities of being trending days with the ATR above 20. So if the ATR is above 20, I can expect a trend. Trailing stops work much better. If the day is slow, like we were seeing now, 12, 13 points on the ATR, there's no room. There's not enough distance. The day, just like yesterday, just like the day before yesterday, will move about 10 to 13 points. How am I going to trail a stop under those smaller movements? I can't. So you're in, you're out. I like to take 1 times the ATR as the target. If you're looking at the trailing stop, do it on days that actually can make it happen. Sounds good? May 8th, new mentorship class begins. It's 2 months. Everything's included. If you really want to learn how to trade, stay away from the indicators. They don't work. Everybody tries to optimize these indicators with different values, moving average crossovers. They don't work. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out. Call us, make sure the program is right for you. And the class on May 8th begins, I believe it's at 5 o'clock, twice a week. You got it, everybody. Excellent. Okay, fantastic. Have a good day, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.